Welcome back to my new video of MCP series. So today I'll talk about MCP server on new session listener. So this is a connector which is available under MCP framework. So I'll show how it works, and I'll give you I'll show in the demo. So first, let's talk about on new listener session listener, right? So what is this and what is this for? So the MCP servers on new session listener in MuleSoft is a component for handling client connections and implementing server-side authentication within MCP framework, right? So the functionality of this is session establishment. So the if on the on new session listener is invoked each time a new session is established between an MCP client, and in this case I'm using cursor as MCP client and the MuleSoft hosted MCP server, right? And we can access the session details like session ID and additional properties. And it is used for authentication and authorization. So what I have done, uh, actually this is my application where I have added two MCP tools, right? One is for get employee name by ID, and another one is for get employee name by employee contact number. So if suppose we have multiple MCP tools and we want to get it authenticated before once the session is established, so I have just added this flow where I have dragged this MCP on new session listener. So in this configuration, I have just used the same existing configuration. I'll just show you this MCP server. I have chosen connection as estimable HTTP server, and this is the listener config. This is the path MCP endpoint path, MCP demo, and this is the server name and server version, right? So this is the existing, and reject with status code. We have to provide the mini status code. So I have just provided this error code where which I have set as 401, right, in the variable. So this error code and reject with the message is variable error dot message. Okay. So and this is just I'm logging the payload whatever it when it enters into this flow, and I am just adding the checking this validating the client ID and secret. So currently I am just validating the hard-coded value whatever I have enforced applied the policy. So this we can use any other types of authentication, and if it is verified, so we can just establish the connection, and then we can get started with our normal MCP flow. And if it doesn't match, then I am just using this raise error, so invalid credentials description, please provide valid credentials, and on a continue I have just set this variable, and then it will propagate the error messages, please provide valid credentials, and error message is status code is 401. So let's run this application. When it's deployed, then I'll just enable it. So let's see, I'll show you this API employee details. So localhost MCP demo. So if you see here in this listener config, it is MCP demo the path, right? So and this client ID secret I am passing, so it comes under additional properties. Okay, so once it's deployed, let me see if it gets deployed already. Scanning the project, and if I passing wrong, wrong credentials, then the tools will not be available. If you see here, tools will not be available, although we have two tools, right? The first one is this one, and the second one is this employee contact number. And if we pass the valid credentials and if it gets authenticated, then the session is established and two tools will be enabled. to use in the AI agent, right? So in this case, let me see. I have just passed this correct credential now. Okay, let me pass this wrong credential first. Then next time I'll pass the valid credentials. So now I am passing this wrong credentials because I have just added this A in the last in the client ID. So it should raise an error and with 401 and the message would be please provide valid client credentials. So now if I enable it and if we see it's still loading the tools and if you see here first logger is the payload. So payload I have just added this. So if you see here the client ID and secret which I have passed it is available under additional properties dot client ID secret and now it is raised an error that please provide valid credentials. Okay, because I have not provided the valid credentials, so the connection will be closed. So it's still closed, right? Now, if I just disabled it and if I provided this valid credentials and if I'll just clear the console and again if you see here two tools enabled, right? Because it already gets authenticated. If you see here, this is the payload from here, this logger and it gets authenticated. So this logger is printed successfully authenticated and this is the MCP logger, right? So now I will just check. mm, can you provide employee details for employee ID 3? So it should invoke the respective tools. Yeah, it is running get employee name by ID. Run. Now we'll should receive the response. Yeah, this is the employee ID 3 and we have the details for employee ID 3, right? So yeah, that's how we can use this on new session listener. So to just get to authenticate and authorized. Yeah. So hopefully I like this video. You can try it and let me know if you have any issues, right? Yeah. Thanks a lot. Happy learning. Bye.